I never heard from Dick whether he thought the train derailment was a big deal or not.
Oh, the pictures.
Like, do you think those people have really been poisoned, or are they just like making hay?
I don't know. It's kind of like it's like a weird thing where I have to pick whether or not people in a place I don't know and can't see have been like poisoned by a liquid I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like, I don't know. Maybe
they're trying to
poison.
It's like it doesn't look good. Like, and if all of that is indeed poison,
if in 6 months the government says they're fine, I'll say okay, they were poisoned.
See, the
like,
government is basically saying they're fine like every step of the way, and the people are like, I got a sore throat and my chickens died. I want.
You hear the guy with the high voice on Reddit?
No.
My voice sounds like this now because the train derailed.
Yeah.
Oh, because the
train chemicals made me gay.
That's awesome.
That's right, I'm gay now.
Yeah, there was a guy on Reddit.
Train crash and I sucked all these dicks. I was running around sucking dicks. I want some money. I'm not gay. I need a letter from fucking Biden. I want a letter from Obama. Biden needs to call Obama up and say, I'm not gay, and put that in a letter.
And then that'll be enough. Because you can't trust Biden to know whether or not Obama has straightened that out.
Yeah.
I'm just not buying it. It doesn't seem like everybody would be like covering everything up like that if there was actually anything to be said about it. It seems like they burnt all those chemicals up and they went up in the sky and became stars or whatever. So I don't get what everybody's problem is.
Yeah. Once you burn a chemical, it's largely defeated.
It changes into a whole other thing.
You other chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns into chemicals.
Guess what else is a chemical? Medicine. How do you feel now?
Water.
Water.
There's
a little something called water, perhaps. Just
I
being,
can't
like,
even
so
burn
smug and
wood, and we've been burning wood for thousands of years. So if that's too much, like, well, I don't know. Maybe burning liquid PVC is not healthy, but I don't know.
What's liquid PVC for?
Making PVC.
Making PVC.
That's it. It's just for PVC pipes.
Yeah,
and that's considered hazardous and requires good brakes.
Apparently, if it's finished or like not, apparently it's very dangerous if it's uncured. Is what some internet person said. But again,
lots of shit's dangerous when it's on fire. Like PVC pipes are probably pretty dangerous on fire.
Yeah,
they set it on fire.
I think everything's dangerous when it's on fire.
To get rid of it.
Yeah,
I'm aware, but like, I guess I just wondered what was hazardous. Like, obviously, if it was like nuclear waste, that's hazardous stuff. We're on the same team there, right? If it's ball bearings, and that's like not hazardous. You could spill that all over the place, and you just have to pick it up carefully.
Yeah.
But PVC
banana peels.
Let's say it's PVC pipe. Is that hazardous? It's hazardous while on fire.
I think that would be real
pipes
bad,
aren't.
but I think the way they
are.
No, apparently it's just the uncured one. Like if it's like a cured PVC pipe, it's not as bad. Like you shouldn't be huffing it, but I don't.
Well, I think it's a different chemical is the issue. It was polyvinyl isolate or something. It's the liquid stuff that was in those tankers, and that's an ingredient to create polyvinyl chloride, which is PVC pipe. But it's also just a kind of plastic, so it's used in all sorts of things. My monitor's probably made out of PVC.
I'm gonna guess some of those words were made up.
Yeah.
But,
Woody, they were all made up.
As long as it's just a bunch of as long as it's just like aerosolized plastic, thank God. You know.
I think you go with more made up words.
Dude, it's gonna make us more powerful.
I don't think they're just they're making a bunch of hay because it got smoky and their throats got a little scritchy. And now they want some big payout, and I say boo to that, sir.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have chosen to live next to the train depot, maybe. And I don't believe
Ukraine needs that money more.
Ukraine does need that money. Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what. those brave fucking Ukrainians need every dime that we can squeeze out to give them. I love it. I out of my own pocket, whatever. I wish that. It's been fun watching the Ukraine war this week. It's been a good week. Lots of really good drone footage. I saw one that really upset me, though. They blew this Russian's face off, and he was still alive, choking on his own blood. And you could see his like caved in face because the camera was so good because the grenade had just blown up right here.
Wow.
And it was just, and his friends are like, like looking at him. And again, his face is just pulp, but he's still alive. And I don't understand why they're not shooting him, for one thing. True. The bit's not over yet.
Yeah.
But it was one of the worst things I've seen from that war so far. But the stuff that I've enjoyed is the body cam stuff. These guys are just
warfare.
I watched it's like paintball shit. I watched like 8 Ukrainians run up on a Russian who was down in a trench. And the Russian is like, fuck, throws his hands up. And the guy takes his AK and puts it kind of next to the Russian's head and goes, bop, bop, bop. And like the sound like discombobulates him. He gives him a left-handed punch in the mouth. The Russian goes, ugh. And then somebody grabs the Russian and drags him away. And then they keep pushing forward with their fucking rifles and shit, looking for more. It was so cool. It was like something out of a movie because the camera is so, it's a GoPro. I can see the expression on this Russian's face. He's punching distance away from the camera, like the camera guy, man, pops him one.
That's a good one. I didn't see it. I watch the war updates every single day. Every single day I watch how the front lines move. And it's mostly like pro-Ukrainian sources, which makes me not fully trust it, as you shouldn't. But they seem to be like they predicted Bakhmut would fall weeks ago. So it's not like unrealistically positive news, but it does put a sort of pro-Ukrainian slant on it. And they've just been losing lately. And by losing, say that again?
The Russians are calling up 500,000 men, 1,800 tanks, and a cadre of helicopters and planes. They're about to make a very big push.
The Russians are.
The Russians are. The war is about to go into its next spring phase. Any day now, there's going to be a big thing popping off. I saw today that the Russians shot a lot of ballistic missiles, including maybe 8 or 10 hypersonic missiles and like 70 drones. Like there was a lot of like striking today from the Russians. But yeah, the war is about to ramp up again in the spring now that it's warming up and
for the past
the treaded vehicles can move.
Kyle might know this, but for the past couple of weeks, there's been almost a stalemate in Bakhmut. It seems like every day the Russians take another like 100 meters, which isn't a lot, and they're paying very dearly for it. They lost 134 like armored vehicles and tanks in one day. Like they're just getting wrecked,
slaughtered.
But then they take 100 meters and it's just like crawl. And this is how Russians win wars, by the way. Like in World War II, if you look at who died, the Russians died more than anybody else. Yet there's no Nazis in Russia. This is how they win wars. So I'm watching this and I'm like, is this going well or not? I can't tell. It's great that 134
what do you mean
tanks.
Well,
I'm pro-Ukrainian on this. Like, are they going to get the Russians?
What do you mean by pro-Ukraine? What do you want? What's your ideal win? Like, what do you mean when you say pro-Ukraine? Because I'm pro-Ukraine. Like, you guys should have surrendered on day one and just given them those little areas and said, like, okay.
Not me. I'm like, get the fuck out of Ukraine all the way. And Crimea, by the way.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the win condition that people?
I'm not looking. I'm not letting. I don't want Putin to build a new USSR. There's eventually going to be a peace, and he's going to keep. Here's 2 outcomes that I see. He's probably going to die, and then who knows how much territory where the lines get redrawn at. But if Putin makes a peace, he'll keep enough that he can see. We took it back. See, we won. But if it's going to depend how this spring goes. I completely disagree. The Ukrainian military budget surpasses the Russian military budget. They don't seem to be having a big manpower problem, and the support keeps ramping up, like the degree of support. It's not like every day, oh, we'll give you more money today. It's like every day they're like, all right, we'll give you this new thing on the tech tree. If this was a video game, they're giving special abilities to the Ukrainians every week, like new ones. Now they have JDAMs. Now they have. Can you
explain that?
500-pound bombs that strike from extreme ranges, and just I saw them hit a Russian ammo depot with the first J. They were like, "This is the first confirmed use of the JDAM," and it's basically like a big bomb with wings. and they blew. It was a gigantic explosion.
When was this? Was this about a week ago?
This week. Roughly,
I might have seen this too, but I didn't know it was a JDAM.
Yeah. No, the Ukrainians are going to win this war. They're going to kill so many Russians. The United States is not.
What do you
going
mean
to
by
allow...
win? I'm sorry to ask that again. When you say Ukraine's going to win,
I don't think
win.
I don't think the Russians are going to take very much territory than they have right now. They may even lose territory. But they're
Do you
not
think
going to
Russia's going to lose territory? What about Donbass and Luhansk? You think they're going to be independent?
I don't know
Russia?
exactly where those regions are, but if those are the ones that already
currently
possess,
occupied.
The Donbass and Luhansk, they've wanted to be independent or part of Russia for ever since the Soviet Union broke up, and Ukraine's been brutalizing the people who live there ever
the
since.
traitors.
Yeah, the traitors.
Yeah, it'd be like if the Confederacy was trying to fucking do something with Cuba and the Cuba's supporting them.
Yeah,
and
some
let
of
the
us are
South rise
still
again.
pro-Confederacy, as it turns out.
Thank you, Zach.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, those guys.
I
So
think
those
they're
guys are
most
getting
likely-
bombed mercilessly by Zelensky and his globo homo agenda that he's hammering them with. Do you think they deserve to be independent or not? Like, do you think those two areas deserve to be their own states or not?
I don't think it matters what I think because I don't know anything about those two areas. But the realities of this war, I think, are that those areas are likely to, in some part, be Russian and some part be the Ukrainian. They're going to have to split that shit up. But what I don't think is going to happen is they're going to take all that shit, take Kiev, like conquer Ukraine, push the lines to Poland. That ain't happening. If you want to see, the scary thing is Putin's already lost, and the West is trying to let him save face, but he keeps pushing. And he's pushing toward an eventuality where the West has to push back. And then it's scary because maybe he loses too much face and he uses a nuclear weapon of some kind.
Yeah.
You know, before
Which city would you like him to nuke?
Well, he would shoot one right here on this map. Is where the nuke would go. But I'm not. A couple of weeks ago, Putin had a big speech, and part of the speech was supposed to be him touting that today we tested an ICBM. He couldn't put it in the speech. It had to be removed because they tried and failed to launch one of their ICBMs. It didn't work. They're going to test an ICBM, and when they fired one up, that I'm sure they handpicked, that one's shiny.
Yeah.
It didn't fucking work. I bet our shit is taken care of. You know what I mean? Like I'm not afraid of Russia, and I don't think we should be afraid of Russia. I think Russia's a third-rate power. We should focus on China. And I think with our pocketbook and our left hand, we can destroy Russia, but we need to be looking over toward China.
Wait, why do you want to destroy
China?
Why do you want to destroy either of them?
I don't want to destroy either of them. I want that war to stop though, because that's messing up the whole global economy and supply chains, and war's no good. But Putin seems like an evil guy, and I don't like him winning. And he started a war.
Yeah, he invaded another country. Fuck him. Let him.
Well,
lose.
he's defending those Luhansk and Donbass areas. They
He's
said
such
they're
a
dependent.
hero.
Yeah, they said we don't want to be part of Ukraine because Ukraine's fucked. It's like one of the most corrupt governments on the fucking planet. We're going to be our own thing. We're tired of dealing with you guys. We want to be independent. And then Putin said, okay, well, I mean, it's like the same thing that the French did for us when we said we're independent from England. They said the French sent the army in to defend us. That's what the special military operation was. I guess maybe he invaded. You want to say he invaded Ukraine, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot of work to take over a country that doesn't want to be ruled. Like those guys, those two areas want to be Russian. They're always saying like, well, yeah, we want to be Russian. We're all Russian. We all grew up in the USSR area. We were all born in like the 70s. We want to be back in Russia. We fucking hate this shit. We don't want this idiot and like Biden running the country. We want to go back with Russia. I don't know. I think you just give them the states and say, yeah, fuck it. Have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know that Ukraine's as corrupt as you're making out to be. I know that it was. I know that it was before Zelensky was president. And now I think it's on the upswing. What do I base this on? I mean, how can we know? How can either of us know really for sure? But that's what they say in the news, that with the new president, he's a better
Zelensky
man.
was in the Pandora Papers, where he's got like all of his finances were through Panamanian foundations, where he's got like hundreds of millions of dollars stashed. It didn't get a lot of coverage because it's confusing, but he's got he's being funded by outrageously by the West to run that coup government they have.
I've never heard of anything like that, but it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means, like you said, it hasn't been covered enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like Afghanistan? Did you like the way that turned out?
I'm a huge fan. Afghanistan was a blast. No,
Yeah.
I didn't. That didn't turn out well. We did a lot differently though,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean all wars have to be Afghanistan.
Vietnam, Afghanistan. I mean, I don't really care. Like,
Well, you're picking ones that Americans went into directly. The Yugoslavia one worked out better, where we just supported someone else, and
Who'd we support there?
the Croatians and I guess everybody but the Serbians. I think we enforced a no-fly zone to make it
The
not quite as
Bosnians, right?
wrecked as it would have been otherwise.
Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yeah,
That's too long of a country name. I don't like it.
it is.
Yeah, and it's such a small country. Do you ever see it on the map? And it's like Poland and then Bosnia Herzegovina. Like they can't even fit it in there. Get it together, Bosnia. Come on. There's nothing funnier on like from a geographical perspective on the planet than Croatia's coast. There's no bigger fuck you on earth than the Croatian coastline, and it's hilarious. Are you familiar with this coastline, Dick?
No.
Zach, pull up a picture of Croatian coastlines, and you can see how they just took every bit of good real estate. It is the most fuck you border. And look, they give them a little sliver so you can go to the one Bosnian beach.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my
Croatia
God.
and you know what? And now that Croatia, they're getting all that sun, tiny little country, one of the best soccer teams.
You can tell Montenegro did not put up with their shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
You think they're like, you guys wouldn't even know what to do if
you guys wouldn't even
over there. It sucks. It's horrible. It's a big pain in the ass to deal with.
Damn, Slovenia. Home of
We-
Melania Trump, former first lady.
Ooh.
Right? I think.
Yes,
It's not super obvious in this map because it's small, but Croatia does have a little bit of land there, and you can see, like militarily, it'd be so easy to defeat them with all the Croatia that they own around it.
Yeah, there's
If they wanted to stop Bosnia from shipping, it would be easy.
It's my understanding that this little region, like everyone's very jelly of Croatia because I think it's like the nicest one of these countries. Or I don't know, isn't Montenegro? Don't they do racing there? Isn't there like a big car race in Montenegro or something?
Those are those asshole countries. You know, we don't know anything about Macedonians.
Yeah.
Macedonians. Isn't
What do they even do
are they
there?
really Macedonian?
Yeah.
Isn't that like what Alexander the Great was?
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it was. I don't think they're.
Kyle says no, I'm going with it.
That's where the bad guys in Taken are from.
2v1.
Oh, speaking of me being right. Oh my
Speaking
God.
of me being right.
Oh,
So guys, it'll be a quick convo.
I love I'm going for 5 fucking hours about things I'm right about. I